Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
Pop quiz. What do October 6, 2019 and January 7th, 2020 have in common?
Zadina scored.
These are the only 2 days this season Red Wings fans have been truly happy.
Oh, what? October
6th.
Oh, the home opener.
Mantha's 4-goal game. Zadina filling Montreal's net.
I heard incorrect. There was a third when Robbie Fabry had.
Oh yeah.
However many that was.
Yeah, but that was still in the wins might be bad for the lottery pick, so nobody was fully invested yet.
Yeah. I heard October 26th because I got distracted by Evan's beautiful water bottle. Is that yours or Kat's? Be honest.
We have two, but that's hers.
Which one? What does yours look like?
Much darker in color.
Black.
It's like gray.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Mine was all the way upstairs, and I was not about to go back up the stairs.
Tough life.
Yeah.
That was the best win of the season, and I maintained that just for the one single narrative. Forget the fact that the first 40 minutes of that game were like really terrible hockey to watch, like so gross and ugly. I was pretty annoyed that I was sitting there watching it. That one goal made it worth it.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the season, and there is no debate. Yes, Mantha's 4-goal game was cool, but it wasn't prophesized like Zadina filling Montreal's net was.
We'll get into all that and a bunch of other things on this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. I'm Ryan Hanna.
I'm Brad Crisco.
I'm Evan.
You almost did it there.
I almost did it.
Evan, you are bound for the slopes soon. You're going to go on a vacation, which is good because you deserve one because you haven't been on one since the end of last year.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels crazy. But yes, I am.
Nobody here knows what Evan does for a living.
Same. I just make it up every day as I go. I just show up to work and pretend I know what I'm doing.
It's a very Barney from How I Met Your Mother situation.
Yeah, he just walked into a building with his social insurance number one day, gave it to him, and he's been collecting a paycheck ever since.
It's amazing what you can do when you walk around with a notebook and a pen and your laptop.
And you just got to look like you're in a hurry.
Exactly.
You're not actually in a hurry. You just got to look like it.
As soon as I've started bringing my notebook to meetings, people think I'm on top of stuff a lot more.
Really?
I really am.
Whenever people bring notebooks to meetings, I think they're dweebs who are faking it because nobody keeps accurate notes in a notebook. What page is it on? How do you find it?
Mine is just by week. So every page is I don't know, every 2 pages is another week.
So every Friday, do you burn the previous week's notes?
No, I keep them in case there's stuff I didn't actually finish.
All his notes are places he's planning on vacationing this year.
They're actually very good notes, by the way. You know, I draw a little box around things that have to be action items, and then anything that's just like FYI notes, I just put a little dash and then write the note. Yeah, they're very organized.
Is there a take your podcast co-hosts to work day?
No. But there is a bring your children to work day, and I can see what I can do.
Perfect. We'll just strap a GoPro to Mika.
Can you imagine? Yeah. What does your parents do? My dad works at an insurance company. That'd be a riveting day for your children.
Brad's short enough. He could probably pass as your kid.
That's true.
He's got a baby face too.
That's true.
We have a few things to talk about before we start this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. Last episode, I mentioned to you guys the fundraiser on GoFundMe for the Australian wildfire relief. An expansion onto that today, podcast sponsor and a generous man, Everett, at Born to Dan Hart on Twitter. We're partnering with him to give away a set of 2 tickets and they're within 10 rows off the ice for the final home game of the season for the Red Wings on April 4th against Tampa Bay. And we'll be at that game as well, just as an FYI.
That's going to be a bloodbath.
The rules are as follows. Make a donation to any foundation, Red Cross, Port Macquarie, Koala Hospital, fire authorities, etc. Or GoFundMe, like the one from the Australian Red Wings fan Facebook group, working to aid Australia in the wildfire crisis. Post a screenshot of your donation and tag us or Everett on Twitter. Every dollar donated is one entry into the giveaway, and we'll give away those tickets as our way of kind of helping out with that whole thing. As you guys know, there's a big contingent of Australian Red Wings fans, and this hits close close to home for them, which means it hits close to home for us. So really, really important that we all band together and help out Hockey Town, wherever that may be. I think they've raised already like $1,500 on that GoFundMe. Yeah.
If you donate $100, it gets you 100 ballots, and that's still like half the face value of what you probably have to spend on those tickets.
Half face value. Hey, we donate $100. Do we get 100 ballots? If we win, it goes to Evan, and we see if he can figure out what's wrong with that situation. The sweet free tickets.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So be sure to check that out. We tweeted it out, and so did Everett. So go look at that. And thank you, Everett, as always, for being an incredible sponsor for this show, as well as Daniel Rossi from RD Woodworking. We are planning the reveal of the table soon. We're going to try to do a little reveal video for you guys. I think he may have to coordinate with Mel to get it in here without all of us seeing it, or at the very least, you two will be surprised and not me. Although I honestly can't think of two worse people to have like candid reactions from than you two.
You're going to get nothing. I'm sorry.
When we were putting together this room, Mel was like, what are the guys going to say?
Probably nothing.
I was like, Evan's going to say, sup. And Brad's going to be like, cool.
I don't even think you got that.
No. She was like, we worked so... I was like, yeah. No, I know. It doesn't mean they don't like or appreciate it. It's just... No, that's how they are.
If a guy ever came over to my house and was like, wow, I really like what you did with this room, I'd say, please leave.
I do that all the time. I wouldn't say it to you because I know there's no chance you partook in that decoration.
No, I'm just the funder of said decorating.
Also, I have to put it out there. I did not take part in any of the decor here. That was all Mel's vision. I mean...
I believe that because it's put together and it's coordinated.
For what it's worth, that camera only sees this table. So they have no idea what the decor
they just see a blank white wall.
I'm like, look at what my lovely girlfriend has done. A white wall.
She's so talented, guys. In fairness, there's still jerseys to go up, and we have officially sourced all 4. So hopefully soon with that one. If anyone's pinned jerseys up to slanted walls, not shadow box, like pin the jerseys up because we want some noise muffling, let us know because we kind of have to figure this one out as we go. Evan, did you hit record on that?
Yeah.
Why is the screen blank? Turns out that Evan didn't hit record on that. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, this is this is the start of the video.
Well, we didn't. You missed the fundraising stuff. Go give money to Australia.
They'll still have the audio. I'll just do a little video editing magic here.
Good. I was not starting over.
Oh, God, no.
That was not happening.
So on this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast, we're going to talk about the Red Wings, specifically Filip Zadina, and just kind of gush about that for 3 hours. We're going to talk about trade targets, quite possibly. It's almost that time of year. And then we're going to talk about some goings-on around the league. So first of all, Filip Zadina. Before that game against Montreal, I thought, this is one that I would want to win only if Filip Zadina scores a game winner, because how sweet would that be? After Zadina got drafted, for those of you who don't know, after Filip Zadina got drafted 6th overall by the Red Wings, someone was interviewing him and they said, what do you feel about Ottawa and Montreal passing on you when by all rights they could have taken you, and Arizona as well? And Zadina, like laughing, said, I can't wait to fill their nets with pucks. And it's been a point in contention for
Ottawa and Montreal fans.
Yes. Brady Tkachuk's been great over in Ottawa.
Ottawa fans are less hostile because, well, they're Ottawa fans, and Brady Tkachuk has very much eased their minds. Montreal fans, not as much.
No. It's a fun group to chat with because they are... rabid about, like, they're very passionate. In fairness, I'm sure that's what they see from Red Wings fans as well, especially the Red Wings fans who are like clamoring to see something from Zadina because he didn't have a lot before the season to show by way of an NHL record. Just a funny group, and they're so quick to the defense and they're so aggressive in Zadina's direction. And I thought, you know what, I try to be pretty level-headed in terms of you understand where every team's coming from and it's all part of like fandom and rivalries. But this is one where I'm like, it would be sweet if he put this in on them. That would just be a dagger, and it would be so funny to watch.
Well, first off, I love getting chirped by Montreal fans because it's not like getting chirped by Toronto fans where I understand all of it. Because when Montreal fans do it, I only understand half of it, so it doesn't feel quite as insulting. And two, there is a moment in the third period there where a noted NHL scout, who shall remain nameless, was chirping. Oh, haven't heard, who's got a very heavy Montreal bias, was chirping. Oh, I haven't heard the name Zadina much. Literally a minute later. Literally a minute later, Zadina scores the game winner. Okay, this is where the petty side of me comes out, and I have absolutely no ill will towards this fan base, towards this team, or towards the player that I'm about to dump on. But I'm petty enough that it felt good.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that Zadina scored the goal. It was that when Montreal had a chance before it came back to their end, it was Jesperi Kotkaniemi who had the puck and fanned on said puck that led to the turnover that brought Detroit back down the ice.
You cannot have written it better. You cannot have written it better. First of all, Adam Ernie, new father, congratulations. Amazing pass out front.
Yes.
Wonderful play.
First assist as a Red Wing.
Yes, and one hell of a way to do it.
In January.
We can say first assist of the year, and that sounds friendlier to him.
Yeah.
Zadina, right place, right time, as he's been tending to do more and more this year. His celebration. Zadina's got to be has to have the best cellies on this entire team. I've not seen him or any Red Wing more amped for a goal in years. In years. He knew what that goal meant.
Oh, yeah.
He knew exactly what that goal meant. I have an entire folder of GIFs of just Zadina celebrating. And he has, 5 goals?
5 goals, yeah.
Yeah. They 20 goal pace over an 82-game season right now.
Correct. 47-point pace over an 82-game season.
And you have to assume he's only going to get better.
He's only 20.
If anyone's going to say, oh, Ryan, Brad, Evan, sample size, to that I say, shut up,
Suck
nerd.
my sample size.
Oh, speaking of that, I saved the video of me and you talking on my new doorbell camera, and I'll save that for some...
I don't remember it, but okay.
Yeah, it was something similar to what you just said.
Okay.
Oh, that's a quote for the ages, eh? What you just said?
Suck my sample size, or
Yeah.
okay?
Both.
Okay.
Okay has existed for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't come up with that one.
If we clip Evan saying okay and just spliced it, I'm pretty sure we can get a whole episode of people not knowing Evan's not here.
Well, you already told everyone I was leaving, so...
We have to do it.
Well, some of YouTube doesn't know that, but now I've ruined it.
No, again, they still see the audio, guys. Well,
Right.
They see the audio.
Like Neo.
jeez. Yeah, well.
Yeah, moving
sorry,
on.
no movie talk.
Somehow I ended up...
Oh, fuck. We lost Terry. Still. Someone check in on Terry, please. We're concerned.
Terry's like, oh, I've only had a podcast to listen to about this whole Zadina goal, but there's that stupid movie podcast.
We've just got this image of him celebrating by himself. Now trying to high five nobody.
Yeah, Zadina lost his damn mind on that goal. All of us lost our damn minds on that goal. The number 11 got the Red Wings' 11th win of the season. And I made a clip of it, as I do, and it was 11 seconds long. And there was a bunch of some other 11s. And it was just the whole thing, and it was just that the prophecy has been fulfilled. Zadina has arrived. Finally, we get that sweet moment of satisfaction. Because right now, for Red Wings fans and people who watched him closely, you all understand that Zadina's been playing pretty well this season. By all rights, the Red Wings' best player over the past few weeks even, if not among their best players. But for the rest of the league, who don't watch us closely, they're like, oh, where are the results? What's Zadina doing? Is he a bust? Was he worth that pick? Were you guys wrong in thinking that he was a steal? This, and that. And it was just frustrating because, they're wrong, but you still want something to show for it. And that was such a great way to highlight Zadina's arrival into this league. Now, can he slump? Can he have a disappointing latter half of the season? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sure. Is it all worth it for that one moment? Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest goal of the year for the Red Wings.
Can we also over-exaggerate and get unreasonably excited by pointing out the fact that in Colorado's disastrous 16-17 season, which also happened to be Mikko Rantanen's rookie season, he put up a very similar points per game?
Really?
I think so. I think it was, I might have the year wrong, but either way.
Hey, Brad, who did Colorado get in the draft at 4th overall after that terrible season?
Cale Makar.
That was after that season, right?
Yes.
They fell 3 spots to 4th overall.
Like Detroit will. Don't get your hopes up, people.
And they got Cale Makar. So after it happens, yeah, Lafreniere would have been nice, but Cale Makar, everyone.
Maybe someone won't pick Lucas Raymond 3rd overall.
There's a lot of things that can happen here.
Remember when we got Filip Zadina at 6?
We almost have renewed some of that excitement, from like draft day. It's petered off because we haven't been able to kind of dip into that cookie jar, but now it's here.
Well, legitimately, because we were so stoked over the first 4 picks of that draft. And in the last, I'll even say week, Zadina gets that goal. Joe Veleno and Jared McIsaac win a gold medal with Team Canada, both playing very prominent roles. And Jonathan Bergeron got a bronze medal, had a decent tournament, and posted a highlight reel assist today. So they're all right back in the forefront.
Okay. As is tradition for the last couple weeks, I'm going to run a quick tankathon, sim the lottery. Oh my God. No.
Given the teams that jumped, that's not the worst case scenario I've ever seen.
Anaheim, New York, Ottawa, and then Detroit. Would you take Stützle 4th?
Yeah, Stützle, Holtz,
Drysdale, maybe.
I'd all consider them. Lucas Raymond's my pick if anybody else goes 3rd. Right now, a lot of time to change that. I haven't really started doing my deep dives yet.
We got posed a pretty interesting question today on Twitter, and it was regarding Erik Karlsson. It was Yzerman season, or Beer League Chump tweeted at us, and he got it from TSN 1040. And it was, if you got a phone call from the San Jose Sharks right now, offering you Erik Karlsson for a late round pick, but you had to take all of his cap hit, the rest of his contract, would you do it? Evan, you're thinking.
I am thinking.
Yeah. I had to think. I don't think it's a clear-cut answer, and I could hear an argument both ways.
I could see a lot of people immediately saying yes, and I don't think they're wrong for saying that, but I'm definitely on the fence with that one.
My thinking is, I think there are guys in this league that are worth the hurt later on in their contracts. It means if it means you can have them now for a run. Get certain game breakers where there's not a lot of available talent to get that kind of production elsewhere. I think Erik Karlsson fits that bill. I don't think Detroit would be able to be remotely as competitive as they would need to during his productive years before he starts to fall off. So that would be a no from me. But it sounds ridiculous to say no to a free Erik Karlsson. But at $11.5 million for 7 more years, or however long it is, yeah.
Why would an owner want to take on that much money when they're not going to get much return on that in terms of dollars?
Butts and seats and jersey sales would be the biggest selling point right now for a team like Detroit, who on the ice couldn't really take advantage of the fact.
How many years is his contract left?
7, I believe.
Times 11?
11 and a half.
Yeah, so they have to sell almost $80 million worth of jerseys and seats.
Yeah, what's a jersey cost? Like $20 million?
Oh, it feels like it sometimes.
Just about. By the way, do you guys like my sweater jersey?
You already asked us that, and I said no.
Yeah.
I said I had a onesie.
Which, first of all, you have to wear on the show now that we're doing YouTube.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, you'll have, legitimately everyone is... Actually, we should all be wearing onesies.
Yeah, but then I have to leave after in a onesie in Kitchener.
Just change. Also, you'd fit right in. It's Kitchener.
That's true. There's some unsavory looking folk.
Yeah. My new favorite TV show is just looking at any random 30-minute clip off my Ring doorbell. I mean, my unbranded doorbell, no free ads. What were we talking about? Oh, Karlsson, would you do it?
If you had posed this question to me in September, I would have said yes, because you so eloquently put, you don't turn down a free Karlsson. The biggest reason I say no, because obviously the salary cap is going to go up with all the new money that's coming in. So I'm actually not as concerned about his cap hit as others. He's having what is considered a very down year by his standards, and he's still one of the better offensive defensemen in the NHL, which says all you need to know about Erik Karlsson. But the biggest reason I say no to a free Erik Karlsson is because of the coming out parties that has been going on the right side of Detroit's blue line, with Filip Hronek establishing himself as a top 4 right-handed shooting defenseman, and Moritz Seider blowing us all away this year with how good he's been. So that is probably the right side of the Red Wings top 4 for the next how the hell ever long. Now, if Karlsson, not that Karlsson can't play left side, but if he was lefty, I probably would consider it then because he'd be the perfect mentor for both of them. So I would happily eat the cap hit to get a premium asset like that for 7 years because Detroit will be competitive, or at least better be competitive at some point in that window.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously bringing in Erik Karlsson does move that timeline up because he's Erik Karlsson. But yeah, because he's a righty, because the right side of Detroit's system is looking so strong right now without even mentioning Tuomisto or Lindstrom, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see the need. Not that Seider or Hronek will be Erik Karlsson. They obviously will not, but their max contracts will probably come in less than like 70 or 60% of what his contract is.
It's just a fun little
Look at us turning down Erik Karlsson. What a chump.
Some fan who hates us is gonna like tune into this episode and clip this part, be like, look at these idiots, fans of this crappy team, and they're so disillusioned that they're talking about how they wouldn't take Erik Karlsson.
Now, if you offered me any left-handed shooting defenseman of a similar skill set, I would take him right now. Because the left side of Detroit's defense going
Brent
forward
Burns
is bad.
lefty?
Nope. Mark-Edward Vlasic would be your option there.
Really?
And he's not nearly as good as the other two.
With the season he's having, I'm not sure you want that. Yeah.
No, you definitely do not.
This is like the definition of like pointy elbows. 2 out of 10 would not bang.
Like
Yeah.
we are all aware that this is just the precursor to the conversation that we're going to have from, I'm going to say roughly early April to July 1st about how much and how long would you pay Torrey Krug?
I thought there was an extension rumored. Was that all just baloney?
Apparently.
Huh. What do you know these days?
Just be ready for that conversation.
Speaking of the Red Wings, we're almost at trade season. We're almost talking trade deadline. And that means we are talking which of the Red Wings are available for sale. Elliot Friedman, in his 31 Thoughts post, mentioned that, or it might have been someone in the league, like a scout said, pretty much anyone's for sale in Detroit for the right price. But because it's a down year and because big blockbuster trades or trades at the deadline in general tend to decline over time, we might not see too much movement from Detroit's end. But you never know. Steve Yzerman is averaging like a trade every 6 hours, so or at least relative to Ken Holland. The two biggest pieces that were listed in Craig Costance's trade bait board on The Athletic were, or trade big board, were Andreas Athanasiou, who came in at 22. And I want to talk about that for a quick second. That's really disappointing if you're a Red Wings fan, and that's disappointing whether you're in the pro Athanasiou staying camp or the pro Athanasiou trade camp.
Both camps needed him to have a good year.
Yeah, 100%. He's obviously not had the season that he's needed to warrant an easy decision on whether he's going to stay and for how much money. And he's not had a good enough season to even warrant getting anywhere close to his value. If this was last year, we'd be having the same conversation about Mantha, but it would be inverse for Athanasiou. Last year, Mantha's perceived value was much lower than his actual value. This year, before Mantha decided to get injured multiple times, he was lighting the world on fire. And that actual value that we all knew him to have was finally realized, but Athanasiou has dropped off. And he's not playing to his full ability. And it's like, in your contract year, man, you couldn't have thrown us a bone, or yourself. So his value is way down. So it begs the question, if someone comes knocking and they offer a 2nd and a 5th round pick for Athanasiou, do you do it?
Absolutely not. Athanasiou is not getting traded in season this season unless something dramatic happens. And I'll see if I can get you to tell me why. If you are Steve Yzerman, are you accepting the trade value for Andreas Athanasiou of a player who's on pace to score less than 10 goals this season?
No.
If you're the GM of another team, of a contender approaching the Red Wings, are you going to pay the price of a 30-goal scorer for a guy who's on pace to score less than 10 goals this year?
No.
So how does a good trade end there? Because if I'm the Red Wings, if I don't get the price of a 30-goal scorer, I'm not happy. And if I'm the other team, if I get the price of a 30-goal scorer, I'm staying the hell away. So this is the type of player. He's young enough. He's coming up for a contract. He's got enough of a skill set. You don't accept a middle ground on value for him. You don't say, okay, let's just say he perks back up to like an 18 to 20 goal pace. I'm not accepting that value for him.
What about Calgary?
What about Pittsburgh?
What about Edmonton? All looking for right wingers, right?
100%. And again, as I just mentioned, are their GMs going to pay
Pittsburgh's
a 30-goal score? Yeah, Pittsburgh's a 30-goal price. But Pittsburgh, out of all those teams, probably doesn't have anything I would like Yzerman would want for Athanasiou.
Would you take a 2021 first-round pick from anyone?
Give me a team.
Calgary.
No, because that's probably going to be low 20s.
Would it?
Either it could be. I'm not taking the risk that it's.
I don't know.
I think there would be a team that would overpay for him, depending where they would slot him in the lineup. If you put him with McDavid, he's going to score 30 goals with his eyes closed.
Oh my god!
If he's gonna fill in on the third line, then I don't see a trade working out unless it's a massive overpay or we just totally give up on him.
Well, thankfully, Edmonton's GM's never had any like contract holdouts or anything with him. So,
well. What's to say that Yzerman wants to bring back Athanasiou?
True.
Because here's the biggest value Athanasiou brings to the Detroit Red Wings right now, and it's the one thing I don't see talked about at all. He is having an absolutely atrocious year in a contract year. That is bad for the player because it likely means his next contract is going to be a lot cheaper than it otherwise would be. Is he not worth throwing a contract out to and hoping that he gets even close to what he used to be?
Is he going to take another bridge, though, Athanasiou?
Okay, here's the question. Would you give him a bridge?
Yeah. I would.
I mean, we've seen him put up... This is his first truly awful year. Once Blashill started deploying him regularly, his numbers just kept going up and up and up. For 2 years before his 30-goal season, all the per 60 numbers were spectacular for him. This season is the anomaly, not the norm. You could bet on the last 3 years, give him like a 5 to 6 year deal at probably not very much, $4 to $6 million.
Oh, if it's under 5, I would do it. 100%.
Yeah, and at his current pace, he's going to have a hard time making an argument to pay him more than that with any term.
If it's under $5 million and it doesn't take him past the age of 30, I'm happy to bring him on.
Yeah, so that's my point. This is where, if from an asset management standpoint, this is where Athanasiou would and could bring the most benefit to the Red Wings right now, is not to trade him because you're not going to get anything of value. It's not to give him a bridge because if he does pop off again, congratulations, you've just upped his cap hit probably by $3 million. And then when you have to extend him, he's what, 27, 28? How long are you going to extend him for at that point? He's 25 years old. I don't think he wants a bridge at this point.
We're living in a world where Tyler Bertuzzi is going to get paid more than Andreas Athanasiou.
Likely, and that will probably be a mistake if we're being honest.
It depends on the pay.
Athanasiou can drive a line, Bertuzzi can't. That's the reality.
Yeah, well, I think if you're looking at assets, Athanasiou is best served on this team because, like Brad said, his contract will be team friendly. And if we trade him, I don't see where we get... Either team gets the value out of him that they think they should get.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would imagine he stays put unless some absolute crazy deal comes across the phone.
If a team comes up and says, we will pay you the price of 2018-19 Andreas Athanasiou, there's absolutely a deal to be made there.
Yeah.
And there's very much teams that could make those kinds of phone calls.
Now, there's been quotes and rumors going around that Athanasiou is in air quotation Steve Yzerman's cup of tea. So he probably he doesn't see him as part of the future, which fine. Yzerman's a lockbox. I don't know how anybody would know that, but let's assume it's true. Even if you're in that boat, do you know what you do? You re-sign him. Because if Athanasiou pops off next year on a bridge contract or a 1-year deal or whatever, his trade value's back up. You trade him then instead of trading him now. Yep. No matter what side of the camp you're on, trade him or sign him long term, it probably makes more sense to at least get him back next year or pray to God his last 2 months of the season are just outstanding and you get some premium at the draft.
Oliver Shellington.
No.
Oliver Shellington in a second.
No.
Really?
Andreas Athanasiou has the ability to be an impact player. Odds are a second-round pick is not an impact player, and Oliver Shellington is not an impact player. A fine player, yes, but he will not get close to the impacting a game like Athanasiou does. I think we all forget how good this player can be when he's on. This is the anomaly year.
I have this awful feeling if he would go to another team and just light the world on fire simply because our coach is a potato. He looks like one. He is one. I just have this awful feeling that that's exactly what would happen, and we would forever curse that trade.
Oh, he's going to go to Edmonton and McDavid. He's going to play on McDavid's wing. And
I know it's the extreme example, but imagine Athanasiou playing in a free-flowing system like John Cooper's in Tampa Bay.
No, Tampa doesn't get any more trades.
I don't see how they
could.
Do
it again.
Yes.
100% they'll do it again.
I don't see a good reason to trade Athanasiou in season this season right now.
I have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to make this work, so that's why I assume it won't. It shouldn't.
We're having to go down a long path before we get to anything reasonable, and it's just as simple.
Usually, it's when someone's a trade bait. They're having a good year. They fill a positional need for a lot of teams. End of sentence.
So it's determined that it's pretty unlikely that he would be traded because it's pretty unlikely that the Red Wings would get a good trade out of it right now. So I am not turning off my 3 a.m. alarm until
so he's getting traded.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the dead of the night.
Okay, so we'll use Edmonton as an example because if you know if this trade is going to work for Detroit or not, you go from the other GM's perspective. So you're the team trading. So if you're Kenny Holland in Edmonton right now, Steve Yzerman calls you up, Athanasiou has to go by the deadline, but I'm not letting him go cheap. You're giving me your first round pick and Caleb Jones. If you're Ken Holland, do you do it?
Yeah. Oh, if I'm Ken Holland?
First round pick, which is probably going to be mid to late teens, and one of your B-level defensive prospects.
No. If I'm Ken Holland, I don't.
And if I'm myself as a Red Wings fan, if we get less than that from Edmonton, I'm upset. I think it's a bad trade.
Yeah, it's once again, I don't think the teams in that 15 to 20 range want to pay their first round pick. But then we get into the 20 to 31 and we don't want that pick.
Yeah.
So where's the middle ground, really? Yeah. It might come down to a last minute injury and a team has to overpay or nothing's going to happen.
Or another team who is big game hunting, whiffs at the last minute, and then this is the backup. That's how the Red Wings have Joe Veleno right now.
Or there's a trade at the draft.
Could happen.
Sure.
Could happen. That would be fantastic because we will be there and...
Oh, boy. That would be fun.
Boy. Mika will be devastated.
Yes, she would be. Mike Green was listed. If Mike Green was sold for literally anything, I'd be happy at this point.
I'd be thrilled with a 5th round pick.
He's, again, like a lot of other Red Wings, not had a good year. I don't think he has the value that he's had in years past, quite obviously. If he was able to garner anything north of a 5th round pick, I think that'd be phenomenal.
I can't even imagine Mike Green having the intensity to play in a playoff game.
In his, if they shelter him, right? Like if he's basically being played on the power play.
And your number 6 defenseman?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to deploy Mike Green. And his no trade clause expires January 31st. So as of February 1st, he has no trade clause. 10-team no trade list as of February 1st.
You're on the worst placed team in the league on a historic bad year. You'd probably move that, I would assume.
Yeah, but here's where the thing that's the unhockey part of hockey comes in because Mike Green's got 2 kids, one of whom is actually sick right now in the hospital with, I forget the name of the condition, and it's a newborn. If I'm him, I'm not leaving the city of Detroit. I want to be as close to that hospital as long as I can.
Yeah, that's the family thing is going to get in the way on that one.
Yeah, so his 10-team no trade list will literally just be the 10 most likely teams to trade for him.
And I would love to say no one's going to offer anything for Mike Green, but last year Columbus offered a 7th for Nick Cronwall, who, again, love Nick, Red Wings legend for sure, was not worth trading for. But for any team to play defense in the National Hockey League last year. So
everybody's on the board.
Everybody's on the board.
I think right now, if we assume Athanasiou doesn't get traded, out of all the Red Wings who could realistically be on the trade block, the 2 most valuable pieces they have in terms of what they'd get in a return are honestly Darren Helm and Luke Glendening. That's where they're at.
What year is it? Come on down.
I think both of them could get a third to a fourth round pick.
Somehow every year between 2013 and now, and also none of those years, we're just in the twilight zone as fans. We're going to look back to the time where we talked about Mike Green getting a fifth round pick being something to look forward to, and we're going to laugh. We're in Toronto's dark years right now.
Yeah. No, Toronto had valuable trade pieces then. Well, we do not.
Moving on. Some coaching movement. Laviolette got fired in Nashville, and a day later, John Hines was hired. So Mike Babcock, in a league where Mike Babcock got fired and John Hines got fired, Hines got a job first.
And Peter DeBoer.
And Peter DeBoer
is on the market. The NHL coaching circle is an infinite loop of mediocrity.
I think John Hines is definitely a candidate for a guy who can find success in a different system. I don't think you would ever want to write him off, but at the same time, he is
small sample size.
Yeah.
Small sample size.
He is like however many weeks removed from a terrible, terrible New Jersey team that really shouldn't be that bad. So I don't know if I would have been so eager to hire him. He has some connections to the team and in the administration there, but I don't know. Could work out. Players have a way of galvanizing under new coaches. Toronto's been like the best team in the league.
Boston dummied them the first game.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Well,
Boston's done that to a few teams.
Yeah,
though, to be fair.
Not us. We beat them and we ruined their Twitter or their Reddit, their subreddit.
The Red Wings have beat Montreal 3 times this year.
27% of the Red Wings wins this year have been against the Canadiens.
Can you imagine losing 3 times to the 2019-2020 Detroit Red Wings? Could not be me.
I, out of morbid curiosity after that game, went to the Montreal Canadiens subreddit, the game day thread. And boy, they sure seem to think they have a better chance at getting Lafreniere now than we do, because it's in the draft's in Montreal.
If the Red Wings win Lafreniere on front of Montreal fans,
that's the cherry on top.
We might have to duck out of the arena.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to be wearing 3 Red Wings jerseys, one on my upper body and one on each leg.
That's the onesie that Evan was talking about.
I'll just sew them all into a onesie.
Speaking of horrific outfits, what do you guys think of the All-Star jerseys?
They are practice jerseys, is the most polite thing I can say about them.
The worst part about these jerseys is they had people who make probably 2 commas worth of salary all in a room together, brainstorming ideas, approving and denying ideas, and this is what we got.
That's what they came up with.
This is the best thing they thought of. Or they were like, oh, shoot, the All-Star game soon. We need jerseys. First idea wins, and that was it for the day. I don't get it. I honestly never care about jerseys. I'm always just like, okay, except for the Buffalo ones. Those were unreal. This is awful. Have you seen some of the colors used as some of the logos?
And that's a weird choice, right? Like
some of them look decent. Some of the colors, like the Red Wings one, it's the normal red. For example, the Predators yellow looks like pee in snow. It looks like I just had 12 vitamins and took a pee. That's how brightly yellow it is.
The Predators one looks like if you dumped snow on a bike rack and peed on it.
It's awful.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. In a year and a half when these go on sale for $40, I might get the black one. I might get the black one just as like a niche item. Last year, I felt iffy on the All-Star jerseys, and I regret not getting a Howard one. I also felt iffy on the Centennial jerseys.
We're 1 year removed from All-Star Jimmy Howard.
Sure are. And then when the Centennial jerseys came out, I hated them at first, and now I'm like, I really should have grabbed one. But these ones I think are actually genuinely bad. I think they're not good jerseys.
And of course, because I'm a dummy, I went on Twitter to see what people were thinking of each of their team's jerseys when the teams announced them. So a lot of people were liking their team's jerseys. I was like, am I just wrong?
No.
It's
the kids.
No, it's the bots that are wrong.
I can see being okay with one of the two. I think
for a Detroit lens, ours is okay.
Yeah.
If I was a Predators fan, oh my God, they are awful.
Yeah, why are some regular color and others not? If you're going with that neon theme, You have to neon all of them or none of them.
Yeah, if it works out where your color scheme leaves some logos looking horrendously weird and some logos like literally untouched, you can't pick that scheme.
I think Tampa's was normal as well. I think Boston, I think it's the yellows. The Boston yellow was bad. Was vitamin P.
I did not dive into these too deep. What did Pittsburgh's look like? That would
similar to Boston's, I believe.
There was one.
I only had so much effort.
What was one? There was one that just like glowed. Was that San Jose's? I want to say it was like a blue.
I think Edmonton's was bad.
Well,
too, but I can't remember.
Some of these are
Winnipeg. It was Winnipeg. The all bright blue.
Yeah.
But then there's a normal blue like St. Louis's.
The Blackhawks are pretty sweet. The Wild are pretty sweet with either the black or the green.
There are some good ones, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, my eyes! What happened?
You know what? The Red Wings.
Oh my god! Look at Anaheim's.
The Red Wings white ones are like pretty reminiscent of the Centennial jersey. Where's Anaheim's?
That's the first thing I thought as well.
Yeah, Anaheim's is somehow worse than Anaheim's actual jerseys, which is hard to do.
These are bad. This is just Adidas trying to be edgy and hip.
You know,
they're trying something new.
I honestly think if Adidas went to Aesthetics and said, "Hey, we'll sponsor competition, collect fan entries," we would get Unreal jerseys every year.
This is what I suggested to my friend group when we were dumping all over these jerseys. I said, why, who cares about these jerseys? Why don't we just run a contest where kids submit the entries and they draw a bunch of team logos and they pick a winner for each team? Those are the jerseys they make. They fly the kids and their families out to the NHL All-Star game and we're done.
Yeah.
And they sell them. Somebody would buy those.
100%.
I'd buy them. Imagine the Detroit Red Wings logo drawn by a 6-year-old on a jersey that you could buy. I'd probably buy it, and I'll buy anything.
And that's how the Grand Rapids Griffins ended up with Jurassic Park jerseys.
Okay, Grand Rapids has amazing special edition jerseys.
Oh, I want the Jurassic Park jersey. I'm not going to lie.
We didn't talk about the Red Wings' upcoming schedule. They have Ottawa Friday night, and then Sunday they have Buffalo in the early evening, late afternoon.
Ooh, a couple of toilet bowls.
Yeah, so 2 toilet bowls in a row, and then we'll catch you guys after that. Some other new... Oh, you guys saw that McDavid goal?
Yes.
I
don't think Morgan Riley has yet.
He's still pivoting.
Morgan Riley. I'm a defenseman. And if you play defense in hockey, you've been walked before by a player that's just way too good for you. It's happened to literally everyone who's not Nicholas Lidstrom. He's the only person in the world who hasn't been walked like that. Watching Morgan Riley go back to the bench and yell "fuck" was like you just felt that pain on like a visceral level.
We are Morgan Riley.
Oh, true.
We're Riley Strong.
Yeah.
This is what it would look like with our all-star idea of just throwing average Joes in there. Morgan Riley just experienced it.
It's like the one-on-one contest. The defenseman is an ankle biter from the 4th row.
Yeah.
You know what? The most impressive part about that move is that he makes Morgan Riley look like a terrible skater. Mm-hmm. And he is an exceptional skater. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. Yeah. I had never really reacted. And that one was a wow.
All the talk about how unreal that goal was, about the fact that McDavid was looking back the entire time, and all I can think of is he just blew by Morgan Riley 20 feet from the net with 3 steps. Mm-hmm. Like that shouldn't be physically possible.
His feet are so fast and his acceleration is so quick.
He juked me. Like he made that move and I moved. I was watching on my phone. I was like, oh, so I'm at the wash or in the washroom.
Oh, he's behind me.
Yeah. Poor Morgan Riley is going to be on McDavid's career highlight reel, like forever. He's going to be seeing himself.
Without really knowing, his highlight reels off the top of my head, that's probably close to top 5. I would think. Yeah, that move was disgusting.
He'll finish his career and it'll be like top 20, but
top 50.
But because it's Toronto, because it's Riley, it's going to say. And he laughed after. You could see him laughing afterwards. He knows what he did. Yeah.
I would laugh too. I'd be like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
That play was the definition of what are you even supposed to do? What are you even supposed to do? And how could you reasonably criticize anyone in the league for not defending that?
That's just an acceptable goal at this point. Like, yeah, well, that's what happens.
The hockey equivalent of getting posterized.
Yeah. And the finish too. Like the finish wasn't nothing.
No, it looks like a nothing move because it's just a quick stick handle and a flip, but No, you people who don't actually play
you
hockey,
people. What do you mean,
you
yo,
people
people? Oh,
have
hey.
to understand that little cutback as you're moving away and then just that little flick to get it, that is hard. That is not something 99% of the population can pull off, let alone at Connor McDavid speeds.
I love when there's something where we can both pile on Brad.
Me too. It's fun.
He doesn't know how to react.
Oh, no, I just ignore it now.
That's the perks of being a father. You learn how to do that.
Oh, everything's just white noise to me.
I was going through episodes today. I was doing some work on the podcast and I was accidentally clicking on each episode. So it would like pick a random point and start playing during my lunch hour at work. And then 3 of the 5, one of us was ridiculing you for having children.
That's actually kind of low. Thought it'd be a lot higher.
No, it's a little. Well, I only clicked on 5.
It's been Christmas lately, so there's a very high chance
Yeah.
that was happening.
I think one of my heard was like, "Hi, I'm Ryan. I have no children." I was like,
I
"Jesus."
think that was the episode Brad wasn't here.
Okay. Do we want to talk about anything else before we head over to overtime? Our favorite.
Kadri's can throw haymakers. That's all I got on that one, though.
Who is it that he beat up?
Ryan Lindgren.
Yeah, he beat the hell out of him. He definitely dropped him a little fast, but Lindgren laid a hard high hit, and he did get his gloves off eventually, but I don't think he had a chance to. He blinked and then he was done.
Gotta protect yourself.
Kadri is just
No jabs. No jab, Kadri.
No, legit. Everything was a haymaker. Every one of those punches, he was trying to make a one punch.
He was going from like 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Every single punch.
Yeah.
Love it.
Guy you love to have on your team. And, well, unless you're in the playoffs and you're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
He doesn't even show up.
We're going to head over to overtime. Overtime in this episode of the Winged Wheel podcast is brought to you by Motor City Garages. They are a family-owned and operated business servicing Metro Detroit. They do everything from garage flooring, cabinets, overhead racks, wall storage, filling your opponent's nets, and car lifts. Enough of the messy garages everyone is sick of walking through. It's time to turn it into something useful. Whether you like to work on your car or if you'd like an organized space, we have you covered. 3D designs and a lifetime warranty. Motor City Garages. Park in style. We are going to head over to Patreon because this is a midweek episode and their comments are the ones that get read out on air as our way of saying thanks for supporting the show. Midweeks are Patreon exclusive. Ooh, 26 of you today. You guys are keen after that whole Zadina. Again, another demonstration of this whole thing is better when Red Wings fans are happy. People are happier and they start to engage more. K-Waz says, sup dudes.
Free content.
K-Waz says, sup dudes, how about filling the Canadians net with pucks? I loved it. Side note, I went to the Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas over Christmas. That stadium is such a microcosm of Texas. It's hilarious. Not even kidding. It's roughly the height of a 20 to 25 story office building. It's absolutely gigantic and it has a lid. Do you guys think Zadina has earned a spot on the Red Wings to stay? Yes. Long answer, yes. Everett Johnson says, if you guys are Zadina, I am a net, and pucks are a story that involves Evan and Steve Ott, please fill me in. He wants to know your Steve Ott story, because I don't think he heard it way back in the day.
Oh, it was something for the Bell Let's Talk, and I said I'd buy a Steve Ott jersey if something happened. And then
I think it was just a donation amount.
Yeah, or retweets or likes or something, and then he retweeted it and then followed me, and then that was cool. And then he messaged me when he was on the Red Wings, and now that I'm remembering the story, it's hilarious.
I want to say, you've been a podcast host for near on 5 years now, and that's how you're going to deliver that story.
And then, he messaged me saying if I wanted to come down to the game. I was like, well, yeah, obviously, for sure. I was like, so yeah, he's like, pick a game, let me know. So there was a game against Chicago, I think on a Friday night. I said, I'd love to go to that game if that's possible. He said, yeah, I'll leave tickets for you. I was like, great, thank you so much. And then he messaged me later. He's like, do you want to come down to the room after the game? I was like, no. Obviously, I said yes. I was like, that would be like a dream come true. Oh, what happens like a week later? Like 2 minutes before the trade deadline, Steve Ott gets traded. So I was like, oh, well, that's probably not great.
For a 6th round pick.
For like a cup of coffee. So
Should look
I
up.
was like, oh, well, I wonder if I still have tickets. 'Cause I don't know what you would do in that situation. So I called the box office and I was like, this might sound like a really weird story. And I gave them the Sparks Note version of it. And they're like, 1 sec. They checked. They're like, oh yeah, team policy is as soon as anyone's traded, all their tickets go back into like the team pool for players. I was like, it's like, all right, I guess I'll just go cry in the shower.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was your fault for picking something after the trade deadline.
Who would have thought, no offense to Steve Up, that we would trade him or get anyone to trade for him at the trade deadline? That's why I'm never say never with any of our players.
Yeah.
We should go look at whoever the Red Wings picked with that pick, just so that could be Evan's most hated player in the organization.
Well, you'll DM them and say, hey.
I can find out if
you owe me tickets.
Arjun Shankar says Zadina scoring goals is the only good part of the season. Imagine he was playing quality minutes on a line with line mates who could consistently get him the puck. That'd be ridiculous, Arjun. Don't be silly.
He's on a 47-point pace playing with like Darren Helm, Adam Ernie, and Val Filppula and Franz Nielsen for a bulk of the year.
Matt Cheney says, so after the Zadina, hey Dub, so after the Zadina go-ahead goal, I realized both my love and hate for the Red Wings at the same time. Zadina goal is easily one of the best moments of the year, and it gets me so excited for the future of the Wings. Problem is, however, that I've had no faith in the Red Wings, and after the second Montreal goal, I turned the game off to do homework, so I missed it. Anyways, Larkin is on pace for 52 points. I can't help to think he's underperforming. I know it's a down year for the Wings, understatement of the new decade, but I can't tell if Larkin is underperforming or if this is just who he is. I'd like to know your thoughts. Thanks for the great content as always, boys. I'm a better fan because of you guys.
I think last year maybe that was a little bit of an overachievement, but he's definitely better than a 52-point player.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything here. I think Larkin is probably doing that thing where he's playing with some lingering injury again. You won't have to scrub hard too far in the video to find Larkin wincing on the bench. I think he's taking a lot more of a defensive role this year, and for a team that's on defense so much, that's going to drag down offensive numbers quite a bit. And thirdly, I do think he's underperforming. I don't think he's, especially considering the hot start he had, I don't think he's been doing what he's needed to do. You consider the fact that he's playing with Bertuzzi and then, whatever guy instead of Mantha who's been hurt, that's going to be a problem for him. But Larkin's going to want more. And the team's going to want more out of Larkin. I do think there's a chance he's also a streaky player or he's prone to these little flashes. But I would bet that he probably comes back and levels out between what we saw last year and what we're getting now.
I found it.
Who is it?
So we traded to Montreal, right?
Yeah.
And we got a sixth round pick. Victor Brattstrom.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed. Yeah, you're never getting those tickets.
Not unless I want to go and watch Timra IK in the
fun.
Swedish Elite League.
Oh, that'd actually be dope. Any Timra fans listening?
Yeah, Victor, if you're listening, you owe Evan a plane ticket and some tickets.
Connor Leighton says, hey fellas, first time Patreon supporter, have been listening for a couple months now from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Home to the shores of Lake Superior, some great college hockey, go Cats, and the first outdoor NHL hockey game. And name level sponsor, Connor, thank you so much, man, and welcome to the Dub family. Thank you for your support. The Marquette Prison Pirates versus the Red Wings, gotta look it up. That was the first ever NHL outdoor hockey game. Some great stuff. Anyways, my question with 38 or so games left, would you take the over or under on Zadina scoring 15 goals? Keep up the great stuff. Go Wings, go Cats, and go Pack, go. Oh, Connor, I'm so sorry, man.
15 goals this season with 40 games left?
To get to 20.
Oh, to get to 20? Oh, I'll take the under on that. I was going to say 15 total. He's like right on that pace right now.
Oh, no. He said, yeah, with 38 or so games left, would you take the over-under on Zadina scoring 15 goals? If it's to get to 15, I'll take the cautious over. If it's to get to 20, I'll take the under.
Yeah, I think he's going to finish around 15.
Yeah, something would have to happen for him to get to the 20 mark, and that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that he's getting a little more minutes lately, he's on the first power play unit. His opportunity is up, so if I had to get, and given there's no way the Red Wings can be this bad the rest of the way out, I would take that his production goes slightly up towards the end of the season. Slightly.
Joseph Delia says, sup, my dudes. The prophecy is fulfilled. Baby Z scoring that has to be the highlight of the season. Combining this year and last year's draft, could you guys do a top 5 or 10 just to compare to how good this draft is with last year's? Ooh,
Sorry,
What do you
what?
mean?
Yeah, he means combine this year's draft with last year's, or do you mean like
Like, who are the top 5 prospects we picked from those drafts? Like, just Red Wings?
could you
Or
guys,
if you put the first 10 in, or I guess 20 players in a pool, who would be the top 5?
pick the top 5 out of 2019 draft and this upcoming 2020 draft?
Oh, God.
That's hard to do. I don't know.
I'm still not fully sure what the question means.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up the 2019 NHL draft,
Yeah, I remember it well.
and we're going to pick the top 5 players out of that draft in this upcoming draft.
Oh, God, that is so early for this upcoming draft.
These are that's going to be like, we're going to get some quotes here where people are going to bring up 3 years from now, and it's just going to bite us.
Yeah.
Okay, so top 5 is going to include Hughes, Kakko, Lafreniere, Byfield, and you pick one of.
God, I can't not put Bowen Byram in there.
That was what I was thinking, but Lucas Raymond might make a challenge there.
Raymond will make a case. Stützle will make a case. Holtz will make a case. Man, even from last year's draft, Doc will make a case. Turcotte will make a case. Seider will make a case. Zegras will make a case. I think I'm going to stick with Byram, though.
He goes on to ask.
Drysdale might even make a case.
I know Drysdale might be the dark horse. Drysdale might be the Makar Heiskanen of this year.
And 5 years from now, we could be looking at this and going, Askarov was the best of all of them.
Yeah.
If he turns out to be the true elite franchise goalie that many think he will be. If he does legitimately turn into Carey Price, which people think he might be number 1. Mm-hmm. So
he goes on to ask about Craig's article. Do we think they'll tear down the small core we have already? I think this team, the competitive version of this team is not going to look like what it does now. In a lot of ways, the fillers are almost all going to be replaced, and some of the core might be different as well.
Okay, so out of players who are actually on the Red Wings right now, Larkin, Mantha, Zadina, Hronek, everybody else is expendable.
Josh Turrell says, would you guys be in favor of trying to work out a deal for Olli Juolevi? What would a possible deal look like? Love the pod. Had to join to replace the hole left by Terry. Thanks, guys.
There's a guy I have not heard a single thing about since he was drafted.
Juolevi is the Athanasiou situation just earlier. Vancouver won't give him up based on how low his perceived value is right now. There's been reports. I don't follow Vancouver super closely, but I have read some things that it does look like he's turning it around. So I don't see a reason why Vancouver wouldn't just at least hold out hope for another year before they offload him for whatever second or third round pick. But yeah, I'd take a flyer if I was Detroit at his objective value right now, but there's no way Vancouver gives him up for that.
Garrett TV says, Hockey Amigos, no question, but a funny story. I recently went to Germany over the holidays, landed on Christmas morning, and flew wearing my Wings hat. While doing my business in a urinal in a tiny 2-person bathroom at the airport in Frankfurt, a German guy looks next to me, looks over and says, Detroit, Moritz Seider, yeah? And gives me a huge thumbs up with his offhand while looking completely deadpan. It was as if he both loved hockey and also wanted to murder me at the same time. It was interesting, but given that I wasn't that far from Mannheim, I suppose not a crazy shock. But someone giving you the thumbs up while literally shoulder to shoulder at urinals in a bathroom the size of a shoebox after an 8-hour red eye was not exactly how I guess I'd be spending my Christmas morning. Reminds me of Joe Louis Arena, honestly, the shoulder to shoulder at
the trough.
Yeah. The Germans apparently love them some Mo Seider, even if they express it like Hans Gruber. Keep your sticks on the ice, boys, and your eyes looking forward in the Frankfurt airport bathrooms. You might just net a game winner. Let's go Red Wings. Ever the storyteller, Garrett. And we go into the void. Says, hi, I've been listening since day one. No lie. A day one listener.
Every time I hear that, thank you and why.
Bless your soul. And
I'm sorry.
I never really interacted till I became a patron around the holidays. Keep up the great work. Much appreciated. Thank you for your longtime support and now becoming a patron. What's the best method for judging talent coming into the NHL? I know it seems like an impossible question. If you could answer it, you'd probably be working for a team. How can you truly tell who will be great, good, serviceable? Some will stick out like McDavid or Crosby. Others look great but never pan out to the star people thought they might be. Would a more intense combine help? Let me know your thoughts. Also, P.S. Next Patreon goal, Evan has to eat a pineapple covered in maple syrup.
That is disgusting.
Wearing his onesie.
He will get diabetes.
Well, something's got to kill him. He's cut from marble. I'm so tired of this guy.
Okay, so here's my two basic rules of thumb. When I'm scouting high-end prospects that I think should go in the top 5 of the draft, what I look for is, can they do things other players can't? Do they see things other players can't? I know that sounds overly simplistic, but Lafreniere at the World Juniors is a good example. Some of the paths he found through opponents and some of the plays he was able to execute, you just know watching that other players can't do that. For players further down in the draft, you look for skills. That, okay, if I'm picking a guy 12th overall, what is the tool in his toolbox that is going to make him a long-time valuable NHLer? Is it his hockey IQ, his skating, his shot? Little things like that. Like if you're looking at a Cole Caulfield and you're picking him, wherever, okay, it's his shot. His shot will get him into the NHL. So that's the kind of stuff you're looking for there. Now, obviously, their secondary skill set is how you're going to rank them. So if they've got that tool, and you're like, that could make them a star, how's the rest of their game? Then you start stacking them up against each other.
And to go off of what Brad said, another little trick is that the easier players to predict are often the superstars. And I know it's a simple thing to say, but right now, I would bet a lot of money that Alexis Lafreniere pans out pretty well into this league. And you can tell when someone's on the ice and they just seem to be on a different level. It looks like they're playing at a different speed. They're thinking quicker than everyone else, and they're doing things that are just befuddling everyone around them. That type of dominance is exactly how you predict the superstars. With lower level players, later first round, second, third round picks, that's more difficult to do because that needs more extended time scouting, testing them on how they play in different situations against different skill levels, against different strengths and experience, and also how they pick up some of the nuances of the game. There's things NHL players know that, Alexis Lafreniere couldn't do right now because he hasn't been taught by an NHL level team yet, and he hasn't been able to do it in an NHL level game. He'll learn them. He'll soon be better than a lot of those players, but still. So for the lower round guys, you kind of have to wait and just see how they play those tests.
And it's so subjective. It's never going to be super accurate, and it can't be, because even if you look at 2 players who were picked around pick 10 last year of the draft, let's use Philip Broberg and Cole Caulfield. We know Broberg's strength is his skating, Caulfield's his shot. Okay, well, what's more important, a forward's shot or a defenseman's skating? How much more impactful is each? Is Broberg skating that much better? Is Caulfield's shot that much better? What is the rest of it's impossible to truly accurately rank these guys against each other. So you just do what every other scout in the history of hockey does. You make your best damn guess.
Eddie says, "What's up, boys? Long time no comment. I was at the game on Tuesday night, and that was one of the most fun games I've ever been to at the LCA. The fans were all into it, and there was a back and forth. Let's go Red Wings and go Habs go chants. It was awesome and makes me miss competitive hockey. Man, hearing that crowd, I can't wait till this team is good again." Just Your Average Teej says, "What's up, my dudes? Recently had a debate with a few hockey friends about which one would be more fun to go to since we live near St. Louis. The skills competition or the actual tournament? Which one do you guys think would be better? And as always, stay fresh, cheese bags, and hashtag oh fuck we lost Terry."
They both suck. I'd rather go to the skills competition.
I would much rather the skills.
I'd rather go to the game.
Really?
It's like watching a Harlem Globetrotters game.
Yeah, I don't really have fun. It doesn't sound like...
Think of how much time is in between setting up each events and just dead airtime.
But if the team does it well, they have a good arena production going on to keep fans engaged.
That doesn't excite me in the least.
Also, more drinking time in between, which is why I like football.
No.
I didn't learn to appreciate football until I became an adult, and then you realize how much you can do in those commercials.
Yes, exactly.
But the moment I care about a game, I hate watching the NFL again. Matt Haggard says, "Sup, boys? Good on Phil there, making good on his promise. He's now got a goal against both Montreal and Arizona. With 2 more games against Ottawa this year, he has a good shot at fulfilling the prophecy and making all 3 teams that passed on him, Buffalo and Carolina notwithstanding, pay for their folly. Because we were playing Montreal last night, I was reminded that we basically had to trade away Tatar and Gus because we have stupid albatross contracts tied to players who contribute less to the team than a tick does to the world, and it's made me sad. I know we got Veleno out of the Tatar trade, but it still hurts. Brad, you have a daughter. Have you been exposed to the 11th circle of hell that is the show Pinkalicious? My 19-month-old daughter has discovered it recently, and I would legitimately prefer to sit through the Wings getting blown out by the Bruins, Blackhawks, and Canadiens consecutively than hear that girl say Pinktastic one more time."
I have not, and thank you for the heads up because I will block it on my TV.
Final thought, the only thing Bert's All-Star jersey has going for it is the Wings logo in the middle and that he's wearing it. Matt, thank you so much. You are a wordsmith, my friend.
Oh, fun story, just because you mentioned kids and Bertuzzi in the same one. Bertuzzi... No, Bertuzzi is the new player in the Red Wings that Mika is absolutely attached to. He's the guy with the hair like her and the missing tooth. Every time she sees him, she's like, he's got the hair like me and the missing tooth. She forgets his name 100% of the time, but she knows it's him.
Dylan Krill says, hey guys, what do you think Seattle will go with? What name? And who do you think they'll end up selecting from Detroit?
Oh, boy.
I think they'll be boring and go with the sock guy because they're scared of being fun. And from Detroit, they will select, I don't know.
We have nobody worth selecting. Our defensive group is not bad, so it'll probably be like a depth prospect defenseman. So my early guess is the Seattle Emeralds will take Gustav Lindstrom.
Man, Danny DeKaiser is straight up just no trade clause, eh?
Yeah.
God damn it, Ken Holland.
But no, he can be left exposed still. It's no move clauses that can't be exposed. Dun, dun, dun.
If I'm Seattle, I pick up a Danny DeKaiser.
I think Detroit might legitimately protect him. Because as of right now, the only from a skill set standpoint of guys who have to be protected, the only three they have worth protecting is Cholowski, Hronek, and DeKaiser. There's nobody else.
Joseph Craig says, I've been a fan of Laviolette in Carolina and Nashville. What do you think about him in Detroit? Do you think it'd be a good fit on a scale of 1 to 10, unlikely to likely? And how likely would it be to see him in Detroit?
My preferences would still be DeBoer or Gronberg. I think Laviolette would be an upgrade. I mean, he's gotten 3 teams to the Cup Finals. That it's hard to argue against that.
Fourth time's the charm, they say.
Yeah, he would be an upgrade. I wouldn't be, running to the hills to try and get him, but yeah. Austin Heuser says, gents, conspiracy theory time. The season continues as it has. Wings end up dead last by a good margin, say more than 10 points. Draft lottery approaches. What are the chances Stevie gets on the super secret bat phone to Bettman's office and says, hey, Gary, you saw those standings, right? You know how big hockey in Detroit is, right? Make sure when those balls get picked, it's a winged wheel in the number 1 spot.
Make sure you're grabbing my balls.
18.3% be damned. Basically, how do we rig the draft lottery to like the Pens did to get Crosby? Have the Illiches threaten to move him out of Detroit?
Here's the problem, and Red Wings fans have to accept this. If you're a draft conspiracy theorist and the NHL is looking to maximize money, fan interest, whatever you want, the French-Canadian superstar getting drafted by Montreal in a draft that's in Montreal. I'm sorry, from a storyline standpoint, there is no way Detroit will be the pick this year. We're just hoping this is just true and honest and we have the best odds. That's the only way we get him.
It's sad. It's sad. Chris Smith says, hypothetically, if we end up with Lafreniere and he puts up a 100-point season in his rookie campaign, is that enough to make us not the worst team in the NHL? Yes. Also, in this hypothetical realm, what's the odd man out of the top 6, assuming we keep all of Mantha, Bertuzzi, and Fabry, or do you think we end up trading one of those 3?
If we get Lafreniere?
Yeah.
I think the top line stays together, Mantha, Larkin, Bertuzzi, and then I think the second line becomes Zadina, Lafreniere, Guy.
Athanasiou?
If they want to put him at center, sure.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Fabry's bounced out.
Then Fabry would be bounced out, yes.
Although I would see them keeping Fabry in there over Athanasiou. Rowan says, good day, duds. Big thanks to Brian for getting Rob to unblock me on the Twitter machine. Is Kevin there today? Hi, Kevin. Kevin's here.
Oh, you blocked him on Twitter?
Blocked who?
Rowan.
I never blocked Ron.
I told him you didn't block him, so it's hard to keep up, truly.
I'm so confused.
You must have just interacted with him again recently for one of the first times in a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Monday, Tuesday. Sunday, whatever 2 days I was sick.
Yeah.
I was off the Twitter machine.
Getting pretty worried that we haven't found Terry yet. The mind wanders to the worst conclusions when he's been missing so long. He's probably in a ditch under a few feet of snow and won't be found till March. Still coming down from the delirium of wiping the Habs. Again, I have to say my favorite player for them this season is 0-3. Who is yours? Big question on every person in Canada's mind has to be addressed. Now that Harry and Meghan have also Brexited, which town will they move to? Will it be Letterkenny or Schitt's Creek? Please show your workings. It'll be British Columbia, because if you had the money to move to British Columbia, you'd do it. I know they're going financially independent, but something tells me the royal family is not hard pressed for cash. Jersey time. All-star jersey. This is another reason Adidas shouldn't be allowed to design jerseys. It's not their worst work, but it ain't great. Yeah, that's pretty much where it is. Yeah. Stay fresh cheese bags. Ken Pope says, hey boys, old to the pod and new to the Patreon. Just want to say the pod is awesome and I listen to it at work every day when it comes out. Ken is a name level sponsor. Ken, thank you so much for supporting us for so long and now on Patreon. We appreciate you, man. Welcome to the Dub Dub family. Thanks for giving me some laughs. I'm from a little south of Cleveland, Ohio, and Wings fans can be hard to come by because everyone around me is a Pens fan and they have to let you know when you talk to them. Anyways, thanks again. Connor McDavid gives me PTSD. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Hey, they kept him pointless in his first game against Detroit.
Fun fact, Little Caesars Arena is the only NHL arena Connor McDavid has not scored a goal in.
You know he's going to have 6 points the next time he plays.
I don't care. We'll still be the last until Seattle comes in.
Matt McKay says, hey, what's up, guys? Hope you all have been able to have a good start to your new year. I heard in Wings for Breakfast pod about the potential of bringing back Igor Larionov as a coaching option. Just want to know what y'all thought about it. I hope you have a great rest of your week and we need to figure out how to get Terry back. Cheers, Matt.
I thought he was a player agent. Why would he want to come back as a coach? Has he expressed interest?
Yeah, he's talked about it before.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of like reunions where I'm like, this is nice to think about, and as a fan, you'd love it, like the whole Fedorov thing. But you're like, where would they actually fit in? Larionov is a brilliant hockey mind, and that he was known for that when he was a player. And I would bet to hell that would translate in administration. So yeah, I would love to see him come back, even as an assistant coach, just to try out and like just try something different.
Anything's an upgrade.
And like, let's be real. The Red Wings fans, what's the best thing that's happened to them in all of 2019 was Steve Yzerman returning. Had nothing to do with the on-ice product because that's not there right now. Build on that. Like, this is the most engaged Red Wings fans have been since 2015. Like, build on that. Bring Larionov back. Why not? It'll get people back into the game who left it. You know, I love the idea of that. And it's hard to know, and you know, you don't really get any real information from Steve Yzerman, but you hope there's a little nostalgic twinge to him and he brings back the old crew. Connor Jager says, hey boys, long time no comment. I was pondering after watching the World Juniors. What's Seider's absolute highest ceiling? Every time I see this kid play, he's an absolute stud and seems to be 2 or 3 moves ahead of everyone else. Thanks for all you do, boys. Can't wait to see you at the Grand Rapids meetup.
Absolute highest ceiling? Oh man, his
highest ceiling is a Norris candidate in my mind.
Yeah, fringe Norris candidate. I don't think he'll ever be a legitimate like in the conversation, but
won't be perennial. But I can see him have a couple of years.
Get some votes on the ballot.
Yeah, if he has his high, let me scale that down into reality here. His true highest ceiling is he's a true top pairing defenseman, and he's the Red Wings' #1 D man for a long time.
He definitely strikes me, excuse me, as one of the guys who, you know, if his development keeps projecting upwards, he'll be one of those guys where it's like, God, I can't believe this guy hasn't won a Norris, or he doesn't get enough mention for the Norris because of his defensive game. Maybe the points may not be there, like putting up 80-point seasons, but he'll have good point seasons and he'll play excellent defense, and he'll be one of those guys who's like, this is what the Norris was designed for.
Yeah. And
he doesn't get the credit for it.
Yeah. Okay, hear me out. If we're going to use NHL player comparisons to simplify it, so we're talking about a big, skilled, but unflashy defenseman who is super sound defensively and can eat a ton of minutes. Ryan Suter.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that comparison.
That's probably his best case scenario.
Moritz Seider has the chance to be something special for a lot of reasons. Like, if he goes out there and is just a huge body and lays people out and is a shutdown D-man and puts up like 40 points, I think that'd be enough.
That is Ryan Suter.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame Chris Pronger. Let's go for it.
Keep the elbows down.
Scott Stevens.
And now this is far to the right on the probability curve, right? Like, we're talking like everything goes right, the stars align, and he gets all the good voodoo. Like,
he's 80% of Ryan Suter. We're happy.
Yeah. Kay Stengy says, hi fellas, I'll be attending the January 18th game for my bachelor party and was curious what this woo thing you mentioned is. Other plans for the weekend include fouling, something in Hamtramck, a cigar lounge, the obligatory casino/strip club, and of course some Buddy's Pizza. As I've only been to the LCA for once for a game, is there anything or you or other listeners think I need to do while I'm there that I might have missed the first time? I think what you were there the first time, you probably caught like all the sights, like all the murals and stuff. Try the different food. There's a taco place that's great. I think their zesty poutine is awesome. The Woo is born of the Ric Flair Woo video that they've played, and Red Wings fans have been bored because the team sucks this year. And pretty much all you hear in the background of a lot of games is Woo! but echoed from 20 different places around the upper bowl repeatedly for no reason. And at first you're like, haha. And after a while you're like, oh, please stop.
Who are the Red Wings playing that game?
Florida, I believe.
Florida?
January 18th. We gave away a ticket for that.
Okay, here's what you do. You get really, really drunk before the game. You show up, you put on an Erik Karlsson jersey, you wear it backwards, stand by the glass during warmups, and just stare at Mike Hoffman the entire time.
Matthew Keeler says, hello, apologies for the length of this post. Growing up in Michigan, it was easy to call yourself a Red Wings fan when they were very good, but only being a fan in namesake. Last September, I was headed to Detroit Tigers game at the end of their season. Happened to see the Red Wings preseason was happening the same weekend and tickets were cheap. Attended the Islanders preseason game with my wife. Holy shit, after seeing hockey in person, I have been hooked. Been watching as many games as possible, about 3/4 of the game this season. Total estimation, and West Coast games do not count. Within a week of the preseason game, I started looking for hockey podcasts, found the Winged Wheel podcast, and I've been listening ever since. Thank you, man. That means a lot. I don't think it can be the easiest time to become super invested when a team is in this rebuilding situation, but with your podcast and you guys live tweeting games as a healthy supplement to the games, it has helped me stay addicted, invested, and increase my hockey knowledge at a rapid pace and continue to have me wanting more hockey. Thank you. Love the show. Matthew, you are going through the absolute grind right now.
Drug addiction.
Thank you for allowing us to be your drug. That means so much to us, and I want you to know when things are good, it is 100 times better being a fan of this team. So good for you for getting in now. You are a true fan, and we appreciate the love and support you're showing.
Twitter's never really been a thing when the Red Wings have been like good.
No.
I have no idea what I'll tweet if they're good.
Yeah, we are going to be in uncharted territory.
Like,
we're either going to quadruple our followers or lose all of them.
Well, either we're just going to post happy stuff all the time that means absolutely nothing, or we're going to get obsessively nitpicky and people will be angry because we're getting obsessively nitpicky. I don't see any other way that will go.
He says, question, if this has been covered before, sorry. How does 3 guys from Canada end up Wings fans? I was born and raised in Windsor, Ontario, so I can see Joe Louis Arena from my house.
I started cheering for the Red Wings when I was so little. I don't actually remember why I started cheering for them.
Leafs fans are insufferable.
Hunter Saunders says,
I can just imagine 4-year-old Evan saying that.
I can. I think he said it just like that.
Probably.
Too. Hunter Saunders says, hey guys, I seem to be in the minority that likes the All-Star jerseys. I like the music staff design being minimalistic, allowing the logos to pop. For instance, the Flyer logo looks good on both the black and whites.
Oh, it's a music thing.
Yeah.
I recognize the music chords going through the jersey because St. Louis's division rival Nashville already does the same thing on their numbers.
Sorry, I couldn't see that because I was blinded by the palette choice of some logos.
All-Star jerseys have rarely been anything other than a neon eyesore, so I appreciate the black and white the past 2 years, letting the logos do the work. One last thing I thought of, would you do Bogosian for Nielsen with us retaining salary on Franz if you're Buffalo? If they want out of the Bogo contract and we have the space to pay him and 50% of Franz's deal, they have D depth and not a lot of forward depth.
What?
I want to pick
Bogo's contract.
Let's look this up.
I don't think we take anybody unless we're getting picks back.
Bogosian wouldn't be.
I'll take a bad contract on shorter term to get rid of a bad contract.
Bogosian's got 1 year left at 5.1.
After this year?
This is his last year.
Oh, 100%.
Why would they do that?
My God, yes.
How much money would you retain on Nielsen? Actually, that doesn't matter. Yeah, no.
I'd take half.
Yes. Yeah,
I'll 100%. Get it gone.
Peter Ploshansky says, boys, I hope this week finds you well. Peterka and Reichel are now more on the hockey world radar after good performances at the World Juniors. I think I saw Peterka ranked 18th by elite prospects, but could be wrong. Does Stevie try to snag one of them in the second or third round, or both, and make Detroit a top destination for German talent? Go Wings.
We're going to get an Olympic silver medal soon enough.
Joseph Fournier says, do be boop, do be bop, do wop, ole. Yeah, that wasn't bad. We've reached the conclusion of the Athens CU 1-for-1 trade game. Thanks for playing. You've all been great sports. The data called just goes to show how hard trades really are in the NHL. You had great discussions of not only talent level, but other factors like contract status, salary, and how each player would fit with their prospective teams. Hope people think about these things more when they scream about how we should offer our deadweight contracts for Connor McDavid. Newsflash, Holmes, ain't ever going to happen. As for AA, after watching him play live and looking at his shitty effort level, I'm all for trading him, but I think it's going to happen after the season and he won't fetch what he's worth after his 30-goal season. when he should have been traded. Interesting that in Friedman's 31 Thoughts, he mentions a source saying Athanasiou will be traded because he's not Yzerman's cup of tea. Now is about the time in the podcast where Ryan is reading these comments as fast as he can, so part with this. Hey man, I didn't ask for that attack. Evan, now that Town Hall 13 is here, are you going to finally upgrade to Town Hall 12?
I guess this is big news. I don't play Clash of Clans anymore.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What happened?
I haven't played maybe in a couple months now.
That is big news.
Big nudes?
Yeah. Oh, I say that all the time. I didn't realize I said that at the moment.
Oh, weird. That's the first time.
What have you been doing with your life?
I don't know.
He's been showing up to the podcast more. What do you mean?
I've been traveling more. It's weird.
In case you guys have been wondering why Evan's been here so much, it's because Kat deleted Clash of Clans from his phone.
It's there. It's still on my phone. I just have no desire to play it anymore.
He just closed it one day, walked outside like a bear walking out of its cave in March.
Yeah, that was
Sun's
it.
out. What is
He
this?
went, it's winter?
That was it. Yeah.
Hashtag, oh fuck, we lost Terry. Stay fresh cheese bags. Chris Cannell says, thoughts on the new Letterkenny season?
Oh, it was good. It was one of their best seasons in a while. It felt more like season 1 and 2 of Letterkenny, which I appreciated.
With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Winged Wheel podcast. I'm still laughing at him calling out me reading long posts this quickly. We want to thank all of our patrons, our name level sponsors, Arjun Shankar, I Love My Playoff Bound Packers. Hey man, good luck this weekend. Scott Martin, Luke Johnson, Mitchell Shinkowski, Hassam Al-Qassem, Clayton Van Dyken, Mike Reed, Aaron Taylor, Langabir, Ken Pope, new name level sponsor, Matthew M. Rice, Kayla Thompson, Ryan Lewis, Sean Levine, Matt McKay, Hannah Lee, Kaylin Wood, Jacob Turner, Charlie Elkins, John Evans, Rob Thiel, Craig Kibble, Stan Olson, Ryan Lewis, Connor Leightonen, new name level sponsor, Danny Jr., Kay Was, Simon Anderson as Evan. Oh, that was your bottle rattling around. I thought you were playing Clash of Clans.
I was about to. That was just the bell saying, "Let's hurry up."
Ding, 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 classes out.
And we're gonna end before Evan relapses back into mobile game addiction.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.